What if you decide to make a movie out of iconic video game? Design video game accurate costumes, weapons, and create cool monsters just to spend most of the film doing everything but what the fans want. Well, if you're planning to do that,
Stop it. Get some help.
it was already done and was a failure. I'm talking of course about the 2020 Monster Hunter, movie which is supposed to be based on a Capcom classic about hunting monsters, which is a good franchise. The movie, however,
They say that in the army the pay is mighty fine.
They say that in the army the pay is mighty fine.
They give $100 and take back 99.
They gave $100 and take back 99.
oh boy, it's not good. You may say, Monster Hunter film, that sounds great. Monster hunting being, high fantasy game where you use weird advanced machinery to slowly but surely hunt down giant beasts in this vibrant and rich world. That sounds awesome! However, this film adaptation is about US Marines in the desert for like 90% of the movie. That is what everyone was wishing when they thought about Monster Hunter movie. I mean, there's not anything else I can say, but just let's get into it and let me show you Monster Hunter the movie. So we begin with this epic tune, which for copyright reasons I will play a second of, but it's a great little melody, very epic, and this scene feels like it's been lifted from the game. We have funky ships going through the desert as if it was sailing through the seas, there's a storm, people dressed in cool but super impractical outfits. It does have this cheap Disney Channel show kind of feel to it, or Final Fantasy XIV advert kind of feel to it, but overall this is exactly what you want to see from Monster Hunter movie. Monsters, fantasy shit, mixed with some epic music. Is he our protagonist? Oh my god, the logo is so accurate, it's so cool! And then from this point on, movie becomes complete utter garbage. From the moment you see that can of Coke letting you know we're in our world. We don't give a crap about that silly childish video game stuff. This is America! Or, more precisely, it's Milla Jovovich, which should not be shocking as this is Paul W.S. Anderson's movie, who is her husband, who is responsible for Resident Evil series of films. Him and Milla really love desecrating video games. I bet you one of them got their ass beaten in like Castlevania or something when they were a kid. It probably was that cryptic shit from Simon's Quest.
There are parts in the game that are definitely not self-explanatory and are too hard to figure out. Take this dead end, for example. Would you guess that you're supposed to pass through this wall? How? You have to kneel down by it for like 10 seconds. Now still, that's not enough to make it so cryptic and hidden that we can't figure it out. Oh, please give us more for our buck and make it harder so we can wander around the whole game and exhaust every possibility before we find out.
What a shitload of fuck.
Like 100% this is what has brought such a hate towards games and gamers, for them to want to ruin everything we love. But anything, going back to the movie. Milla, that's what I'm gonna refer to her as. I have no clue what her character is named. I don't think they actually give any names to any of the characters, but anyway. Her and her gang of typical American soldiers, having typical American military chat, while they scout for lost team in some Middle Eastern country that America notably have invaded, brought democracy to. This is a moment in the film where they tried to make us care about the characters, but they definitely were rushing. As if the director realized that he can't spend an hour establishing backstories and motivation of these generic American soldiers, as people wanting to see some monster hunting would just walk out of the cinema. Which, thinking about this, they might have done because this drags for a while. But anyway, we see them get scared of the storm, and this dude kisses the photo of his family, and Milla kisses this ring, indicating they have loved ones. This is your cue to care for the well-being of these amazing, deep characters. Anyway, they get caught in the storm, and they still think it's a normal storm. Like, what?
No, never. But I feel pretty secure here in this big steel box.
They not see the flashing, magical, glowing freaking rocks of ancient ruins? Come on. There's a lot of this movie that is just so boring, stereotypical of an American soldier kind of movie that is just a blur to me. I can't help it. I opened TikTok during this section without even thinking about this, only realizing I stopped paying attention to the movie halfway through a Reddit story Minecraft parkour video about this dude who wonder if he's the asshole for not feeding his daughter. Yes, dude, you're an asshole. She is 8. Sorry, let's go back to this movie. So there's some stuff about a sun turning to glass, oh, spooky, and the team they were searching for seems to be dead. But there are no bodies. I wonder if this ever will come up. Spoiler alert, never does. Then the epic tune again, and we see the silhouette of a person dressed as if he was playing in a movie adaptation of a fantasy video game. Oh yeah, this is a Monster Hunter film. I forgot about this, because there were no monster hunting for the last 15 minutes. Anyway, then they ride around this strange place that is not on any of their maps, strangely calm, singing this song.
They say that in the army the pay is mighty fine.
They say that in the army the pay is mighty fine.
They give $100 and take back 99.
They gave $100 and take back 99.
I wonder if this will come into play later. Who knows? Giant ribcage in the middle of the desert. That is a very unique concept that no one has ever done before. And at this point in the film, you realize that this film is not really trying to be a good Monster Hunter film. It is trying to be Pitch Black. If you don't know, Pitch Black was the film in the Riddick series, was the first film there, about this killer with an eyes that see in the dark, portrayed by our favorite family man, Vin Diesel. In Pitch Black, a group of people end up on a desert planet full of weird monsters. Sounds familiar? Well, W.S. Anderson definitely liked that film, from the ribcage scene to the dark mysterious cavern to the monster hole. Yeah, that's scientific word for this, the monster hole. Like, he did not even hide it. The movie overall is not interested in making anything original and is full of scenes you would just see in other, usually better movies. Minor spoilers for later on, but there is the scene from The Revenant and Rambo, just a bit less brutal, and the scene from Stargate about giving chocolate. Just in this one, it's an absolute lie. No one reacts to Hershey chocolate this way. Have you ever had it? It's like eating barf. He would just shot her, let's be honest. See, W.S. Anderson really seems to think that making movies is just taking iconic elements from other films, remaking them in a very uninspiring, lazy way, and merging them together with some additional action scenes to get this Frankenstein of the Beast to 90 minutes. Second note which, we have more of this film to go. So finally the monster appears again. The monster and the non-American bits look decent, I have to say. So they fight, and then beloved characters that we came to love and care about are being killed by the creature while the proper Monster Hunter watches. That's so brutal. But yeah, they die. Now to tell you, I watched this scene in 1.5 times speed and I still felt it was way too long. I felt in cinema I would just fall asleep. Anyway, the base gives up and the night falls.
We're soldiers, and this is what we do, we fight. Am I right?
We are soldiers and what we do is fight. Oh my god, she did not just say that. How long we have left of this movie? Not even a quarter of the film! Yeah, they do the American soldier bullshit and the mill is killed. Movie ends. No, sadly. This pointless action happens again. Monster Hunter shoots in one arrow and he's defeated. He really sucks at his job. And the rest of the gang dies. Who cares? Film doesn't, as it last time we hear or see any of them, no one talks about them. Miller doesn't care about those people. I know, they're just forgotten. Who cares? So yeah, Mila wakes up in a dark cavern. Wow, how scary. So much like the Capcom classic. Definitely doesn't resemble any other movie. And in a very Sigourney Weaver fashion, she managed to mess up the big scary alien. And then there is the very unique scene I have not seen before. Oh, then we are reminded of the stakes again. You know, the ones we never given much information about. And another very unique scene I've never seen happens again. So yeah, she walks through the desert and realizes that the big monster reacts to a smaller vibration, even of that of a rock. Which brings a question. How does any life survive in this world? How did a life as big as this creature came to be with this big-ass apex predator roaming the land? What do they eat? Humans? How many humans are roaming this land? If they can't even cross the desert due to this big mofo, these creatures would definitely not evolve into this big giant beast, having no source of food at all. They would just die. Anyway, I'm thinking way too much about this. Definitely much more than writers, so let's just move on, folks. This movie then becomes a survival movie for a bit, wandering around Tatooine while being observed by this dude. I will remind you that this is what the game looks like, and this is what the movie looks like. Yeah, I can't see the difference at all. So, to shock to no one, the hunter ambushes Milla, even though he had zero reason to, as she was not giving him any reason to be threatened. He just saw her and her squad get totally messed up. But that's what happens in movies, so let's not think about this too much. So Kung Fu happens and Milla is now in captivity, while Pitch Black starring Vin Diesel happens again. So of course she managed to free herself, after some boring scenes I'm gonna show you, and more fighting ensues. Fun, fun, fun. And that is when the very unique scene I have never seen before happens. Again. So yeah, she saves him and of course they become buddies, which again is so unrealistic since she gave him Hershey's bar. I can't get over it. Like, this to me would be a declaration of war. He was just 100% justified, just threw her down the monster hole again. But to continue the trend of cliches, the hunter just walks away thinking that she knows what he's doing, even though she's a stranger, clearly not from here, speaking a different language. Who thought this was a good trope? I don't know you, and you have no clue what's happening, but I will walk away assuming you would just follow me. Like, they always do that with those kind of movies where people don't speak the same language. They just think to understand each other. It's like Pocahontas kind of shit. Ugh. And they do love the wide zoom out shots in this film, don't they? Right, so she explains her situation to this dude who doesn't speak her language, and when she points to the monster, he calls it Diablos. Diablos, this weird culture in this alien reality, or planet, or whatever it is, called a big horned monster, Diablos. Diablo is a Spanish word for devil, which most likely came from Latin or ancient Greek word diabolus. How did this dude know that word? Did their language evolve exactly the same way as a normal Earth language? That seems unlikely, since their culture must be completely different with all the freaking giant monsters roaming the land. Just look at the difference between the Latin language and the language of the East. They're just so different. How that would be impossible. Does this film want to make the point that us humans have this built-in want to call any horned beast, devil, or Diablo? Are they saying that the heaven and hell are real? Is this movie confirming the Judeo-Christian myth of creation? Are they saying that this is unbuilt fear given to us by God? No, just this movie, writers have not thought about this at all. They've seen something with horns and called it Diablo. Or Diablos. I hate this movie so much. Anyway, let's continue. Now, somewhat Monster Hunter-ish thing happened. They tried to get the poison to put the beast to sleep, which seemed, like Monster Hunter thing. You do hunt stuff, you get the poison suck and other stuff, so, you know what? I'm okay with that. But then, they had to bait the monster out of the hole to get the poison sac. And of course, the worst example of Chekhov's gun ever pays off, as she uses the god-awful song that they sang at the beginning of the movie. Remember this one?
I wanna go, but they don't let me go. They say that in the army, the men are mighty fine. To me, they look like hunchbacks and sound like Frankenstein.
I would have not predicted this song will come and play again. But yet that leads to most Monster Hunter-ish scenes so far, which ends in 15 seconds, and it's back to Monster Hunter discovering magic of our world, and somehow he understood the gesture of a gun. How? Do they have guns in this universe? I know they have some kind of a crossbows and stuff, but they have normal hand guns, because that's what she was basically showing. Anyway, emotional things happen, so we care about the Monster Hunter. Then what we have, basically 80s styles training montage happens, without a cool song though. They'd really need Push It to the Limits or something. It would be so much better. But yeah. She uses the tons of weapons from the game, even takes it out from the chest. Get it, guys? It's like in the game. That's just like in the game, like selecting your weapons. Do you get it, guys? Do you get it? Do you get it? Yeah. And of course, she is amazing at it, being Milla. And thinking of this, Milla is kind of like Adam Sandler's of action films. Shitty films, always the best, no matter what the situation, and a walking cliche. W.S. Anderson is dating Adam Sandler from Alternative Universe. Oh my god. Anyway, but talking about which, after one afternoon she is full on Monster Hunter, and then they hunt the Diablos, and a lot of action happens. It's nothing amazing, nothing new or particularly exciting, but it's not bad. It serves its purpose. The Monster Hunter probably is training throughout his whole life. Fails. But newbie hunter, that is Milla, kills the beast because she is American and she is the best. Being American and W.S. Anderson's wife. Of course she's the best. Anyway, she's making this thing to carry the Monster Hunter, and as typical in movies, his auto health regeneration kicks in and he just gets better on his own after like a day. Awesome. Then we have a sudden, unwarranted scenery change. This actually does not look too bad until they go into the forest and Disney Channel feeling kicks back in. This looks so cheap. Like, did they waste all of their money on the battle scenes at the beginning? I don't know. But he's doing this thing from the game. Oh my, it's in the game. Do you get it? Do you get it? Do you get it? Do you get it? But yeah. And they're such a good friend. So funny. Can this be over, please? What the hell are they doing here, by the way? Weren't they headed towards the desert to reach the frickin' storm? I don't know. More actions ensues and this dude shows up and they dance around with flaming weapons for no reason, and this Spider-Woman appears and saves the dude.
Don't thank me yet.
Wow. Dude spoke in English. I wonder, how does he know English? That is so shocking. Wow, there are more humans in this crazy world, which is definitely not fit for human survival in it. I wonder how that even happens. I wonder if they're gonna explain it. Spoiler alert, they don't. Milla, of course, escapes, being the best that there ever was. Like, why do they even put her in a cage? It's obvious she's gonna escape. And then this happens. This thing appears and does the thing from the game. In case you forgot, it's based on Capcom Hit. It's from the game. Do you get it? Do you get it? Do you get it? So we learned that the others came from her world, I quote, long time ago, and that's how this dude can speak English flawlessly. Seems very believable, dude. It's almost as great of an explanation as in the 2002 sci-fi classic Time Machine, where the future humans, like thousands years in the future, learn English through reading tombstones. Yeah, that definitely makes sense. But yeah, stupid exposition happens and we find out that there's a tower connecting the world of Monster Hunter and the real world. I don't know, I don't care. Not gonna lie, it's too far in the film for me to care about anything resembling Monster Hunter now. As this film's about to finish, this should happen in 10 minutes into the film, not hour and 20 minutes in this hour and 40-minute movie. So yeah, they head to Mordor, Milla, Monster Hunter, and a bunch of characters we don't know fight this beast. And then it actually turns out this is the end, not Mordor. And they are about to fight the Ender Dragon. Now it makes sense. This pointless walking through the desert for an hour. This is Minecraft, not Monster Hunter. Yeah, the case is solved. Now we understand. But yeah, lots of action happens, and of course Milla is kicking ass, per usual, and then she's back into her own world. This is it, isn't it? The movie's over. Oh my god, finally! It's all over, yes! Oh, no, it's still going. To be fair, this scene is alright. Something I have not seen before, her being bound in a falling helicopter, like slow motion. I thought it was kind of decent, but I'm sure they stole it from somewhere because W.S. Anderson has zero creative talent. And where the soldier, not like, what, are we in Game of Thrones now? Get the shit out of here, I don't get paid enough. No, of course they didn't, because they're American soldiers. They went towards their death and they just died. So smart. And those are people who apparently are defending our countries. Oh god. Again, this scene would be good if it didn't take this long. Every scene just takes so much. It just takes so much time. It should just be over. The dragon destroyed the chopper, so him destroying the plane is not as impressive anymore. Just stop it. You done a good scene. Don't overdo it. Milla, of course, survives chopper crash somehow and nearby plane explosion, and then rushes towards the dragon without hesitation. To be honest, if I survive all of those things, I would think I'm immortal as well. So I kind of get why she's doing this. But yeah, somehow the Monster Hunter comes from nowhere and finally does what he is meant to do, hunt the monsters, and he kills the frickin' dragon. And I don't know what happens at this part of the movie. They go back to the Monster Hunter world and everything looks so freaking cheap. This is like some kind of a fan fiction movie, or maybe like a fun movie, or like a Justice League level of CG. It's like they filmed this in a garage. I'm thinking like they literally ran out of the budget, or maybe this scene was meant to be over once she kills the dragon, and they decide, you know what? No, we need more. So they just quickly filmed something in the garage. Just look at this. This looks so horrible. I've seen YouTube videos that look better than this. But yeah, they just rush towards this thing, and the movie just ends. Yeah, I'm not joking. They rush towards this monster, nothing is resolved, and the movie just finishes. The logo flashes, and it's over. Oh wait, there is a post-credit scene that will explain it all. Let's have a look. So we have a mysterious stranger, and then they are back in Monster Hunter World. They're fighting, and then the cat joins the fight, and it's over. Yeah, definitely a sequel potential here. Oh, I guess not, because this movie lost so much money. Oh my god, this movie was freaking awful. W.S. Anderson once more shows complete disregard for source material, same like Uwe Boll, who, if you don't know, just gets the video game licenses just because it's easiest and the cheapest way to secure funding for his film. But instead of making a good adaptation of, the license that he acquired, he just makes movie he wants to do. But couldn't because no one wanted to fund them, so he makes his own version of Predator from Far Cry and so on, because that's just the easiest way to get money. And I feel that W.S. Anderson is doing exactly the same here. He wanted to make Pitch Black kind of a movie, and that's what he did for an hour of this piece of crap, and then quickly shove in Monster Hunter elements towards the end of the film, clearly running out of budget and not even finishing the movie. I feel like if he was tasked to adapt Lord of the Rings, he would not be able to just settle for hobbits and dwarves. He would have Milla crash into the Shire in a spaceship after going into the wrong wormhole or something. He just makes what he wants. He doesn't give a shit. And that's why this movie is one of the worst movies I've ever seen, especially licensed movies. And I have seen some Resident Evil movies, and those were at least somewhat similar. This movie literally has nothing to do with the games. Games have nothing to do with the real world. There's no real world going through portals kind of bullshit in the games. As far as I know, I don't know. I haven't beaten Monster Hunter Worlds. Maybe there's something about that there. But I highly doubt it. I just don't understand how studio thought that there was a sequel potential in this. That rushed in scene at the end. They definitely wanted this to be a franchise, but it just couldn't. It was so freaking bad. If you like Monster Hunter, you're not gonna like this movie. If you like Pitch Black, and you want this kind of gritty survival on a mysterious planet kind of movie like Pitch Black, you will not like this movie either, because the rest of it's some fucking fantasy bullshit that looks like it's made in for a Disney Channel production. So he tried to please both parties, please no one, and created one of the worst films ever. But yeah, have you watched this movie? What are your thoughts about this movie? Let me know in the comments down below. And yeah, let me know what other franchises or what other licensed films we should look at on this channel, because I know there are quite a few of them, especially these days. There are so many different ones come out. So let me know which one we should do next. But yeah, thank you for joining me on this torturous journey. If you liked this video, press the like button. If you didn't, send it to your enemy to make them suffer as well. And I will see you next time. Bye!